Hello, everybody, and welcome back to GameStack Podcast right here on We Just Love Games Network. You're listening to episode 142, Dave Cave 300cc, with special guest Dave Chafinz. Hello, Dave. How are you? Hello, it's Dave. And we also have Shalene joining us, of course. Hello, Shalene. How are you doing? Happy Friday, friends. How are you guys doing? How was your week? Dave, how you been? What's new? It's a yearly check. Yeah, we're doing our follow-up with you. There's no audio. Okay, stand by. I had this fixed when we started. Sten. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, friends. Maybe this will... Is this okay? Speak now?
Hello. Test.
I think they can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
There's a slight delay, so we have to
we'll just
wait
test
to find
the audio
out
as
if
well.
it's working.
Okay, it's not going to pick up the bumpers. Again, with this audio issue, I apologize, listeners. Vendor only stream. I mean, the only voice that you need to listen to.
Okay, we have a thumbs up from our in-studio producer, so we have audio.
Excellent. I apologize once again. I am constantly having audio issues with my computer these days, and it's a bit of a mess. And I'll tell you guys all about that story later on. But Dave, how have you been?
I've been excellent. I think that my life is pretty great. It's been about 1 year since I have been on the GameStack podcast. So this is the yearly dose that you get of me. I hope that, you make sure to fill out the form when you're done that you've had this like enough just like pure Dave to your ear holes. Well, I've been great. I've been working on my my other podcast, Rad Rolls, which is like a actual play podcast. We did a year of playing a Fallout game called Fallout 2D20 that has like its own original story with it. This year we're starting a gameplay through of Old School Essentials, but we're using Elder Scrolls as kind of the background. So those episodes are every Friday, and you can get them on the Rad Rolls podcast. You can just Google Rad Rolls. That's exactly how it sounds. As well as doing the Starfield Lorecast, which is a show that exists that I have done episodes as information has come out. And real information, as we all know, is very tough on that. So here and there, that show appear. Maybe more game releases.
And you're also a dad now.
I'm a dad.
Are you just like, are you over the dad jokes, or are you still dropping dad jokes like it's hot?
No, I was thinking I'm just, like we haven't seen Rick McVick here in a while. I'm just like a slightly younger Rick. Instead of vinyls, I've got my my CDs over here.
Be careful what you say, because you might become a permanent installment here on the GameStack podcast. Yes, you also have audio equipment, so
look at my instruments behind me.
The only thing you need is like a lathe and a bunch of like weird metal boxes that like have like wires hanging out in the background.
Yeah, I need to fill in my sideburns a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say you need more mutton chop. Yeah, but
yes.
Yeah.
Shalene, how was your week?
It was good. I had a very productive week at work, and today I found out that some grant applications that I've been working on for a couple of months came through, and $1.1 million for my village. Yay!
Excellent. That's awesome. So what happens with that money? Is
Let's see. Some of it's going
are
to
you going to be
streets.
driving around in a Land Rover Defender in a couple of weeks, or
Street repairs, wastewater repairs, new security system, and some improvements to the maintenance building.
and
So,
not ridiculously expensive outfits for the chief
I
of
mean,
police?
I mean, if you do happen to see me cruising by in a Lamborghini, just mind your business. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Just
I think we're all about safety here in the world of utilities and services, and I think that a Lamborghini is really like a safety need at this point.
absolutely.
I'm with you.
Well, it's about
Yes.
it's about being more efficient in getting to your meetings, right? So, what do they want you there or not, right?
Right.
So,
I will be showing up early in my Lambo. But yeah,
um,
things are good. Things are
that's
good.
good. That's good. I had a big meeting today. It was probably the one of the biggest meetings of my PhD, other than my candidacy exam that I did in January, which I'm still recovering from, and my thesis defense which will be in some time in 20. um, it was for a grant, an operating grant for my research,
Mhm.
and it went very well. It was a
Wonderful.
5-minute presentation and 15 minutes of questions against a panelist of 4 experts, with me and my supervisor, and we feel good about it. It was very nerve wracking. I have like I took a cardiogram measure of the meeting, and you can see my heart rate go from like 65 beats per minute to like 160 beats per minute for like a solid 20 minutes, and then drop back down. So it was a little bit nerve wracking, but if we get that, then I have secured funding for the remainder of my PhD, which is 2 years, up to 2 years. And I get
Wonderful.
money to pay the patient partners and the clinician partners who are on my team. So that's a huge deal, because to date they've been committing their time on a volunteer basis, which is significant. We basically asked them to do a part-time job for free,
Right.
and they stepped up to the plate. So it hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll know by next week. So hopefully by next Friday I will have some good news to share with all of you.
Well, I'm sure
um
you crushed it, and I wish you well.
yeah.
Hey, I would really want to match you all here and say that I had been exploring the pyramids recently with Scrooge McDuck, and we have indeed found my own personal vault of gold and money that I will be diving. You all have your fancy money to do, and me and Scrooge McDuck are going to be absolutely doing swan dives into big old piles of doubloons. I tell you what.
Do you
I don't
have one of the little swimsuits with the little straps, the little tank top straps, little striped swimsuit?
Yeah, like they almost are like kind of like bloomers at the bottom,
Yes.
have
Yes.
like fringe or something. Yeah, exactly.
Little
You've got it
sun
down.
brilliant.
cap for your
Got me
hair.
down pat. You see me at the ocean or the beach or something, you're like, man, that is a guy from 1943. Look at him.
Yes.
uh, well, welcome to all of our lovely listeners here on the best little corner of the internet on a Friday evening. We see Patches, the Dipstick in the chat, Van Sylvan, Sully, Banana Nana Nandan, and all of you other lovely listeners. Thank you for joining us this evening. Don't forget, our show is sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 from every bag goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Don't forget also to tell your friends about the show. You can find us on twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. You can also find us in our chat after dark. Shalene, what's going on in the Discord this week?
I don't even know, man. I've been busy.
Ball
I'm sure
dropped.
stuff is happening.
Well, okay, I can comment on the Discord. It has been very active. And this is a shameless plug. This is my new truck sim setup right here behind me.
It looks good.
It
It
is
looks so
the
fancy.
Moza wheel and wheel base and the pedals. It's a direct drive wheelbase, which is like more robust. It's really meant for racing sims. But anyways, Moza has decided to make me an affiliate, which means that I have a
Ooh.
5% discount link that you can apply to a purchase of a Moza product. We're not sponsored by Moza. I'm just putting this out there. If anybody wants 5% off, the link's in our Discord. Check it out there. So that's been going on in the Discord this week. Also, a lot of hype around the new Super Mario Brothers film trailer, which we will talk about pretty soon here. Lots of screenshots and stories to share with you as well. And I believe that we have some mail to talk about. How can people join the Discord, though, if they want to get involved with that, Shalene?
If you would like to join our Discord, you can click the link on our Twitch page, www.twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. That link is live whether or not the show is. So 24 hours a day, you can visit our Twitch page, click the link, and become a part of the Discord. Alternately, shoot us a message on social media. We'll send you the link.
Mm-hmm. And we'd love to hear from you too. So if you want to send us some mail and things we can talk about on the show, post it in the MailStack channel, or you can email us at info@WeJustLoveGames. So, but yeah. So we got a jam-packed show. We should hop right into the news. This just in. And there's no bumper.
I'll edit it in post.
I'll do the editing this time because I feel so bad. Because
I'll do
every
it.
week.
I'll do it. I got it.
Wait.
Archon's making notes.
Boo-doo-doo-doo. There you go.
No, we don't even need it. See? Excellent.
I had it all working right before you went for a nap, so I'm gonna blame it on your nap.
I mean, a lot of things can be blamed on my naps, and that's totally fair. I'll accept it. But you know what my nap was not responsible for? You can now use Discord voice chat on your PlayStation 5.
Oh, that's handy.
Yay.
I would have thought that your nap would have been responsible for that. Dang.
I know. I was dreaming about it, so maybe I was responsible.
Could have been.
Yes, Discord, of course, is a juggernaut in terms of the way that gamers communicate.
Agree.
And has been for quite some time now. And now you can connect your Discord to PS5 and use Discord to chat for voice chat. So you can be chatting with friends who are playing on PC or on a different console or whatever. You can just jump into a Discord with everybody.
That's brilliant.
So, yeah. So,
I think this is actually kind of a big deal because, there's always been this cross-play issue with people on Discord. And I know that when we have done Sea of Thieves server takeovers in the past, it's been an Xbox issue, but we've had to have people on the Xbox chat. So hopefully we can see cross-play with Xbox and Discord as well in the future. If it doesn't already exist.
Yeah, Discord is available on Xbox.
Oh, it does
Discord
exist? Oh, good.
Available on Xbox.
You exist.
Just goes to show you how I've been out of the game.
Yeah, that's one of the things. PlayStation, Sony in general tends to like this, that allow you to interface with other platforms. So this is a victory for gamers. Really.
And it's funny because Sony owns Discord, but the first they do. But the first company to do the integration is Xbox.
Wait,
but that's so dumb.
Discord is no longer a private company?
Pretty sure it's owned by Sony now.
That is so dumb.
That is so smart.
Figuring out things, so I may be wrong on that one. So
if there's one thing that they should have bought in all of these gaming companies swallowing up studios, Discord was a significantly smart acquisition, I should call it. But
that was maybe a few years ago that they did that.
Again, Oh, that's good. Now I can play Discord. Now you can. Have you used it, Dave? Discord on your PS5?
No, I don't talk to anybody. I just remain invisible where no one can see me. So I exist in the shadow. I'm like a little shadow man going around.
Yeah.
Oh, you won't see me, man. No Man's Sky. I'm out here just like.
Oh, brilliant. Okay.
Well, you know what we're probably going to be playing on our PS5s? GTA 6. Hopefully,
GTA 6.
We're hoping that GTA 6 comes out before there's another console generation. Or GTA 5 will just be the only one forever. I don't know. We'll have How many consoles has that been on now? Are we at 3?
Well,
Yeah,
GTA
3 console generations for GTA
PS.
5.
Oh, really?
Because it was on the 360, and then there was an Xbox One version, and now you can play it on the Xbox Series X.
And not for Sony though. I don't think it was on the PlayStation 3.
It's on the
It
PlayStation.
was. It
It
absolutely
was?
was. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I remember
Dang.
because I went to the midnight release for that, and this is while I was in college, and I just happened to like there's like a small game stop that I went to, and then the entire car club came, so it looked like Fast and Furious with everybody's cars up. But here's the thing: everybody that had those cars were rich white kids, so it was like they're nerdiest mofo's that were out there. Cars are like, look at this! This is a V8 engine with super powered, supercharged nonsense on going off the midnight release of Grand Theft Auto 5 for most of
Yeah.
oh, we don't really care about this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic.
Just so you all know, GTA has been out for 10 years this year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going on its 10th anniversary.
Wow, what grade would that be make it in? Would that be like, I don't know,
5th grade.
fifth grade?
We're talking like school, like education.
Yeah, if it's 10
Because
years
I've been in
old.
college for 14 years, so so there's no grades. I'm on like grade 23.
Oh
We're gonna
my
have to sit down and have
goodness.
a talk with Grand Theft Auto 5 here soon and be like, listen, guys, birds and the bees.
So
Yeah.
Dave, I think it knows. It is GTA. So
Oh,
yeah. I think it
really?
knows.
Really? Is it explicit in any way? Unfamiliar.
But speaking of GTA, we have a rumor to talk about regarding GTA 6.
Oh, we love
So
rumors.
yeah, we do love rumors. This is a gamingbible.com article by Kate Harold. And the crux of this article is that um, GTA 6, they want to launch this game in 2024, but to make that happen, they will likely be holding back content that they will sell later as DLC.
Really?
Yeah, that's
On what speculation or what grounds is that assumption?
a leaker known as Tez2 is who is saying this. They have had some accurate Rockstar related leaks in the past, so they have a bit of credibility. But of course, this is just it's a rumor. So
Yeah.
take that with a grain of salt for sure.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
feel
mean,
like we're ripe for some big news on GTA 6. I feel like this summer
mhm.
we're just going to get tons of information, but that's just me speculating.
No, I think you're right. I mean, we know that the next generation of GTA is long overdue. And I wouldn't actually be surprised if they follow a DLC model, given how long GTA 5 has been out for and how they've had to innovate on that product itself with GTA Online and various other ways to generate revenue from that edition of the game. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them sell individual pieces of DLC following
Yeah, I
an
feel
initial
like
launch.
this is not that. I mean, it's this doesn't seem super controversial to me. Of course,
I
they're
mean,
going to want to continue releasing content.
I don't know if it necessarily needs to have a controversial take, but
Mhm.
personally, I don't like DLC. I'm such a sucker for DLC.
Oh, I am too. Yeah.
I'm gonna pay $80 for GTA 6, which is actually gonna have half the amount of content GTA 5 did, and then buy all the $20 DLCs that come out with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's exactly what's gonna happen, and I'm a sucker, and I'm gonna pay for it.
Dave, are you much of a GTA fan?
Um, no. I think I played. See, I got into 5 because they're like, hey, all right, this is all about a heist. We're gonna get together. We're all gonna do the heist, and I'm like, okay, cool. Ocean's 11.
This is you and friends online.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, like
Okay.
the GTA Online.
it, right, but the story itself of 5 is about a heist gang itself.
Yes.
And so, like, I don't know why it just didn't really mesh with me. I think GTA 4 was probably the one I played the most.
I
Uh,
loved 4.
just because
GTA 4 was my Vice was.
No, the one with Nico Bellic.
Oh yeah.
cousin Roman.
Yeah. Hello, cousin. It's your cousin. You want to go bowling?
But that had a lot of interesting DLC too, where you were like, it was the same map, but you were doing kind of like different missions, and I thought that was good. But I'm more of a Red Dead kind of, kind of more of a out poking around, getting my horse,
Yeah.
shooting.
Give me a stagecoach and a handlebar mustache any day.
Yeah, I played like a million hours of GTA 4. I played so much GTA 4. I found all the pigeons, and just like I feel like I could find my way around New York City because of how much I played that game.
Yeah, I grew up on GTA and The Sims. Those were the two games, and Mario Kart. But that was like early days. That was pre GTA era. But I grew up on GTA. Yeah.
That really explains a lot. That's probably the reason.
Yeah. For this.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's pointing at the driving wheel for our audio.
Yeah, because I was the guy playing GTA, stopping at all the red lights. I was the guy
doing taxi fares.
I was the guy in Vice City that unlocked the secret achievement when you did 100 taxi fares. So
one of my favorite things in GTA 4 was to steal a police car and then respond to crimes.
Yeah.
I loved that. It was so great.
I mean, those were some of the earliest forms of role playing in GTA, right?
And you would just like roll up and just like kill the criminal.
And I love that you could also do the same thing with the buses. You could,
could you?
You could steal the bus and you stop at the stops and people get off.
Oh, that's great. That is so good.
So good.
GTA.
It's like bus sim, truck sim, GTA. Emergency taxi sim, all in one game.
Which one had the
with
the
thugs and drugs?
Was that in GTA 5? I think it was 5 where you could drive a tow truck. I really loved driving the tow truck.
Yeah, I can't quite remember.
Andreas had like, hey, we got a mini game here. Do you want to serve soft serve ice cream and go like steal some weed? Like that one are just like insane.
I loved that you could go to the beach and work out at the gym. It was so stupid, but it was just like LA. Like it was awesome. I love that. Yeah.
Did you guys ever play Chinatown Wars on the DS?
Oh yeah.
I loved that game. I loved it so much. And like the drug dealing mini game from that is one of my favorite video game activities to this day. Just so good. Perfect. Perfection.
That's like a tie for my favorite like Grand Theft Auto game. I think is Chinatown Wars. It's not even like what you would consider modern in that aspect, but
it's top down.
And Sully in the chat points out something important that we haven't talked about, but we all love as part of the GTA universe, and that is driving around listening to the radio, right? Yeah. How much do we love the radio? Like a lot of the music that I still listen to on my Spotify playlists are inspired by GTA. There are certain
songs that I cannot allow myself to listen to in my IRL car because they make me want to drive like GTA.
Yeah, they make you want to drive like a maniac. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyway, any other thoughts on GTA?
No, but I think I think it's fair to say that we've professed our love for this franchise in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, we went way off book, but that was a fun conversation. Guys, I want to talk about the Super Mario movie trailer.
For my appearances.
What's that? Say that again, Dave.
Title for my appearances. Like you went way off book, but it was a good conversation. But timing, wow,
I want to talk about the Super Mario movie trailer that was released.
Oh,
yesterday.
Yeah. So, thoughts?
I thought it looked fantastic. I just I felt like this is very much, this is a movie for children, which, that's as it should be. But also, in this trailer, you see this little guy, that little adorable guy.
The
I forget
ghosty
what
the
they were
ghosty
called. Yeah,
guy.
the little ghosty guy. He's from the Super Mario Galaxy, I think. But he's just like, yes, we can pray for the sweet release of death.
I know the
That's
cynicism is it's so
fantastic.
good, right?
And Jack Black as Bowser is everything. Everything.
Jack Black is exactly, and we were talking about this like what, a year ago, 6 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and how excited we are that Jack Black was going to be playing this role. I
Absolutely.
this I might have to go see this in theaters. Yeah.
Just after seeing this trailer, I feel much more like this is a movie that more than just children will enjoy. So,
It's been exciting to see the conversation on Reddit as well, because people are stopping the trailer frame by frame and comparing certain scenes to levels in Super Mario World or Super Mario 64 and
yeah.
other
Like right
renditions
now,
of Super
what you've
Mario Brothers.
got
Rainbow
playing as
Road.
B-roll is Rainbow Road from Mario Kart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Rainbow Road was the best. Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, it's good. What do you think, Dave? Are you going to
Yeah,
watch it?
I really liked the I think it was around the Super Bowl. I don't know. Americans' lives just revolve around whatever major football event there was. Um Around that time they released a trailer that was they did the Super Mario Brothers rap from the old Super Mario Brothers TV show. And it was like this whole rap that they did at the beginning of they had like a cartoon
Yes.
show from the 80s and they
I
redid.
loved that show.
And like the attention to detail just in this like the joke of it being like two plumbers like doing an advertisement and like people would zoom in on them like in front of like what is in cartoon like they are in front of a green screen and you can see the green screen like reflecting off of their like there's no green screens, this is animated, but they took the time to say okay, these are two plumbers, two cartoon plumbers filming in front of a green screen that has a graphic there.
Yeah,
Oh,
Like
I'm gonna have to find this. That sounds
that's
fantastic.
brilliant.
really care about the detail of it, which is grand. It's like how did we've now fallen into like good video game stuff. Like why is the Sonic movie good? Why is that?
Yeah, Last of Us is amazing.
Yeah, like
Hmm.
we're here. We're at the video game world movie and television extravaganza.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. We're finally at a good intersection between shows made from video games that are actually really good. And it took us a few years to get to that point. But it's nice
I
to be
had
here.
started to believe it would never happen. Yeah, I really thought we would never get the good video game adaptation. Only
Where do you think it started, Shalene? Which game did it start with?
Well, the thing is, I feel like it's not a good question for me personally because I like bad movies and bad TV.
Me
Like that
too.
Assassin's Creed movie, I loved it. I thought it was so good. And everybody was like, oh, this is the worst. And I was like, yeah, Fassbender. It was so I'm not really the one to ask.
I have a real soft spot for the old Tomb Raider films. We watched some of those during the pandemic. Well, there's only two of them. We watched both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some absolutely like corny, hilarious acts
Oh
in them.
yeah.
It doesn't have anything to do with Tomb Raider, but it's just like absolutely some of the like silliest, goofiest stuff in a movie. And I'm really here for that because I think that movies in general are too self-serious. TV
Yes.
self-serious needs a little bit of that goofiness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Gerard Butler really ruined the second one for me. I can't stand him as an
You
actor.
can't. Well, I mean, he could have. You just think of him as a phantom in the background.
He doesn't fit any role in that story. I don't know. Anyways, off track here. I'm excited about the Mario movie. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna drag Carlo and make him watch it with me too. Maybe we'll go to the good theater, get the adult show so that it's like late
Mm.
night, no kids, no screaming, no popcorn being thrown. Not that type of adult show, Dave.
That's right
keep
where
your head in the game. Keep your head in the game here.
Yeah, it comes out on
The adult
April
cinema.
the 5th.
There's no good way to say that. What is that? Like the mature,
The No Kids
Nope.
Allowed
the
cinema,
no
I
kids allowed.
guess.
I don't know. I haven't
The
been to a movie theater in like 8 years.
I don't
So
know. Are there no kids allowed movie
the
theaters?
last time I went to a movie theater, there was reclining heated seats, and they were bringing me martinis.
I want to go to the Martini Theater.
It was very expensive, but it was awesome. Yeah.
I was just really excited. The last time that I went to a theater, there was like the seats reclined and you could raise up the armrest in the middle for snuggles. So you could like snuggle during the movie. It was great.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of
Yeah.
the Super Mario trailer? We posted it in our Discord in the General Gaming channel. Take a look at it. Let us know what you think. Post something in the GameStack channel and talk about it a little bit more. When do we know when that
Absolutely.
movie comes out? When is it coming out?
April the 5th.
April 5th. Okay.
soon.
Yeah. So that's not too long to wait.
I think that the box office is also forecasting like $105 million initial sales and tickets for that. So
I mean, Mario's a huge franchise.
Huge.
Yeah.
And
Is
a
this-
movie really elevates stuff because like my sister has kids that are like, I guess they were like what 3 and 4 when the first Sonic movie came out. They were like, oh yeah, Sonic, gotta go fast. And I'm like, why do you kids
What do you
like
know about Sonic?
what do you know about? And I even told them, I was like, me and your mom used to play, Sonic the Hedgehog in the Sega Genesis. And they were like, nuh-uh. It's just like the movie brings out like, it's like, oh, it's like a whole like line of toys, marketing, everything.
Yeah. I love Sonic. I had an emulator for my PC and I was playing it and streaming it a few years back. I should dig that out of my files again and play some of it.
That would be super fun.
It's so
That
good.
would be a great thing to do while you're waiting for the release date of Starfield. Starfield was expected to come out in the first half of this year, but recently this week Bethesda announced that they are going to delay it a bit. They have assigned a new release date of September 8th. Thank you, Dave. September 8th of this year. So that's kind of what I was expecting. I thought that we'd see this in early fall. My guess would have been October, but I feel like September is realistic. I think we might actually see it then. I wouldn't be super surprised if they did delay it again. But I think that this is a realistic target for them to hit. We will also be seeing an update in June. We will be having a Starfield Direct showcase on June the 11th. So they will give us some more information, and I'm looking forward to that because
June 11th,
I feel like we just don't know enough about
June 11th
Starfield
is going to be big
to be excited about it yet.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to be waiting for that, and they're going to want to see what the decision is, because if they're speculating a delay, it's going to be announced June 11, right?
Yeah.
So
I think they might hit September. I think that's feasible.
Part of me thinks now that they're part of Microsoft, that Microsoft can pull levers and delay projects on a whim just to satisfy shareholders in the coming quarter. Mm-hmm. So if they have a lower projected sales in the next quarter, they'll delay a release of a new project so that it actually boosts sales. And it does. It's part of me thinks that it actually doesn't really have sometimes much to do with how far along the project actually is.
This is Bethesda Game Studios we're talking about, and
yeah, that's true.
In the past, anybody who plays a Bethesda Game Studios game at launch is paying to beta test that game.
Do we think that if it is delayed, would it be like a thing for Christmas? Like they want to launch it closer to Christmas? That's more of a console thing.
If there is another delay, it'll be more it will be because they're not quite done yet. I don't think it will be to hit any particular marketing thing. They want to get this thing out the door. Okay, guys, I saw this meme today. I think it was on the ASA podcasting Facebook page. And it was this meme of like the little girl crying doing her homework, and the text was Bethesda's team, now that Microsoft is making them finish the games before they release. And I felt like that really hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Because they do have this storied history of releasing some broken ass buggy games. And I think that now that they have Microsoft behind them, I feel like they're Microsoft overlords saying, no, you can't release this. This is janky.
Perhaps
You need to fix it. And like we are not having another Fallout 76 style launch. Like you're gonna make this work before you release it.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts anyway.
Yeah, I think they'll hit that date. I think they'll hit September 8th. It was interesting. I spent 38 hours. This is what I do while I work on very menial things. I spent 38 hours watching the Psycho Odyssey, which is like the documentary of the making of Psychonauts 2. And that was very interesting from a perspective of like, hey, they started as like this is a crowdfunding thing, and then they were working with Starbreeze, the like publishing side of that, to like publish that game, and then Double Fine got bought by Microsoft, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna finish this game, and then the pandemic hit, so there's like a lot of factors, and it's like it ended up like releasing I think in 2022, early 2020. It started production in 2017, and just like seeing like the change of like Microsoft coming in and then being like, hey, we want to make sure that you all have enough time to finish the game that you're working on. This is for like Psychonauts, and this is kind of you could watch 38 hours of it, but this is my down to like 5 seconds. But we want you to allow like have the time that you need to finish the game, but they also like had a date in production that was like, yeah, you're gonna have to hit this date. Like this is what we've projected. This is our date. This is when you've got to hit that. Extenuating circumstances maybe, but this is when everyone is expecting this game, and it was enough time. It wasn't. They didn't have to crunch or anything to finish like Psychonauts or whatever. Like they didn't have to do any like crazy amount of work, but they were like, okay, this is what the game is. This is what we're gonna fix up. Like by that time, it was like okay, it was feature complete. So it was just like polishing it up, getting it ready. And I think based on some of that footage that they saw that they released, you could see some of the people playtesting and doing some stuff. So that means it's at least in alpha or maybe coming up on a beta version of that game where people are like standing around in the office playtesting stuff. So I think if we're in playtest mode, I think 6 months, 7 months is pretty good to put in that polish and try out all the bells and whistles. I'm very excited for the game. Obviously, I have a podcast all about that stuff, but I think that it'll hit that date.
Why are you so excited for Starfield that you even have a podcast?
Yeah. So as far as like what a game does, there's very few games that allow you to solve issues outside of just like the core mechanic. So like core mechanics would be like combat, like you go play a Devil May Cry, like you're solving issues with giant swords and guns. You go and play Animal Crossing, you're solving issues with bells. Like every game has a core mechanic, and it's rare that you get games that don't, that are kind of like separate from that. Like to my knowledge, like you can have a smaller scale game like a Dishonored or like a Half-Life that is like you're on a track, but like how you get to the end of that, like there's so many systems at play that like your ending could be different. And so like Bethesda games and how they're designed outside of maybe their online stuff have a system rich environment. So like coming into it and saying, okay, well, this is Starfield as like, oh, I would love Fallout in space. It's like I don't think that that's necessarily what's to be excited for. I think it's the amount of, because Todd Howard, his whole thing is like generating systems for everything. And if you look in their sequels, they make more and more systems for how everything works, so that it's like I keep on saying systems, but those disappear. So it's just like you were interacting with this world and you were doing things outside of it that it's like you may not have thought of in the same way. I think that's one of the reasons of success for like Breath of the Wild, the Zelda game, is like that's so like, oh, like you don't even need to fight in that game. You can just like roll a rock down a hill and kill all the enemies. That's a viable strategy.
Yeah.
a maze puzzle that you have. You can flip your gyroscope around just as flat, and you can knock the ball to the other side. Like
Yeah.
there's a thing like that for Bethesda games, like for their core series, that I'm really excited to see them return to. I feel like Fallout 76 was like fun game. I really I loved it. I started podcasting because of that. I'm excited for them to get back to let's get back to the core. Let's get back to what made us great in the first. Make Bethesda great again. Is that politically like a good thing to say? Are we cool with that? I don't know.
I'm excited for Starfield because it's going to bring the nostalgia of survival that I know within a Bethesda game, I think. I feel like we can expect that a lot. And, there's been various different types of space games released in the last couple of years. No Man's Sky, um, Space Engineers. What are some other ones? Astroneer, which is more cartoony and things like that.
Mhm.
But Starfield is going to be really hyper realistic, right? And so that for me, that immersion is something that I'm looking forward to in a space game, which I feel like No Man's Sky doesn't really capture that all that much. So, but
Cautiously optimistic. I reached a point of like jaded bitterness where I can't feel the genuine joy of the hype train, but I feel like 70% sure that I'm going to play the game and I'm going to have fun and it will have those good Bethesda feelings and I'll get the dopamine.
I
So
wonder, do we know if there's going to be like a play with friends part of Starfield?
I don't think so. I think it's strictly single player.
Strictly single
So,
player.
I don't think so
yeah.
either. And it seems like they are really developing this game to sell the Xbox platform, whether that's Game Pass or consoles or whatever. Like this is their exclusive. Like this is their
Mhm.
shot. Like when you think of Sony, you think of like Uncharted, Last of Us, or God of War.
Right.
Like this is going to be Xbox's like, hey, this is the reason we made this giant purchase, is so that we could have this experience
Yes.
that you can only play on our platform, whatever that is. Um,
Mhm.
and I think that they have to nail that for like Xbox to be successful.
I feel like that's a very fair assessment, Dave. Very fair.
Console exclusives, keeping these places afloat.
Mhm.
Well, if you put your console on every PC, then it's easy.
Mhm.
I think if Sony would let them put Games Pass on a PlayStation or whatever, then they would have Starfield. But
I
when the pigs
agree.
fly, if wishes were kisses, we'd all be in love.
Aww. Next.
So, vendor, I want you to take this one because I'm just confused. I opened this news article and I'm looking at like cartoon Obama.
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Okay, so this is a totally random new article from The New Scientist written by Matthew Sparks. And he talks about how a artificial intelligence in the game Justice Online is now allowing players to customize characters to look basically like anything that they want. So you can create characters that are celebrities, you can create dog people, you can create Obama, which is to the length that someone has gone in creating their character out of using this AI technology.
This is an incredibly accurate President Obama, by the way.
And it allows players to transform their video game characters to look like anything or anyone that they want. So if you want to be a movie star, if you want to be an animal, if you want to be anything, you just type it in on your keyboard and bam, you've got a character that looks exactly like what you just described.
So is this like the evolution of Rainbow Six when you could upload a picture and be in Rainbow Six?
I guess so. Like I'm not entirely sure.
Like in WWE games, when they're like, "Oh, please submit a photo of yourself," and you submit one where it's like, "Oh, I look nice in this," and you're smiling, but you don't realize that over your teeth, and so your character is just like,
yeah, yeah.
flapping its little like lippy old white teeth around.
Well,
Craziness.
Incredible.
Justice Online Mobile is an action combat MMO that includes an AI language model, so players can have also unique interactions with NPCs throughout the game. The Chinese company NetEase, which has developed Justice Online Mobile, has announced that this MMO will be including Chat GPT powered NPCs. Now, this is quite a big thing. You guys are familiar with Chat GPT, I assume?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes or no?
This this feels mighty risky.
Well, Chat GPT is sort of it's an AI chatbot developed by OpenAI that was launched in November of 2022, and it's built on the OpenAI's GPT-3 family of AI models, and this particular company has taken it upon themselves to include ChatGPT as part of NPC dialogue, which I think is amazing because the range of dialogue that you'll get is completely random, right?
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Ahmad, Director of Research and Insights at Nico Partners, who is also an analyst of games from Asia and the Middle East, also mentioned that this could be used to drive a wedge between two NPCs or hurry someone up within their gameplay. And it's always been interesting to me how NPCs interact within video game worlds. Sea of Thieves, for example, when you see the ghost dudes on the beach fighting the seashell dudes,
Yeah.
and they're like fighting each other, I'm like, this is so brilliant. Like, sometimes I wish Trash Can Carlo would just like pick a fight with Sturges and like, like they just had duke it out. That is sort of somewhat of a reality now with ChatGPT that we could expect to see in other games like Justice Online. And the ChatGPT version of the game has only received a demo so far. It's unsure how deep the integration actually goes, but they are saying that it's going to be coming to more of their products. And it's this is a game that released back in 2018 on the PC, mostly in China, but it's more accessible outside of the country now via VPNs. And people are really sort of taking to checking this out because of these AI possibilities. So, what are your guys' thoughts on AI in video games in this way?
I feel like it's something I'd have to experience before I would have many thoughts.
To me, AI feels like it feels like you're in high school and you get at your TI-84 calculator and you start doing some math equations, and the teacher is always like, hey, you won't always have a calculator with you. And then flash forward to the smartphone age that we live in, where we always have a calculator with us. I'm not necessarily interested in what the calculator can do. I'm more interested in what like the tool can help people make rather than what the tool can do. I'm more interested of like what that can like facilitate for us, because like
Interesting.
think about like how like an Excel spreadsheet works or whatever. I feel like everybody in every job has an Excel spreadsheet somehow. Um, like you go through your functions and do all of that, but it's not like the amazement of the functions. It's like what you have thought of to use the stuff with. So I'm optimistic about AI and like using AI, and AI is like such a it's just like really really smart programming. It's not like actual artificial intelligence that's gonna like Terminator us. That's not what they're calling AI anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's an interesting tool. I'm curious about what people can do with it rather than what the tool can do.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have you ever read Judea Pearl's The Book of Why? Judea
No.
Pearl he's a computer scientist, and he wrote this book called The Book of Why on cause and effect or causality, and he talks about artificial intelligence and how it's been sort of handicapped by an incomplete understanding of what intelligence really is. And sort of he talks about how the primary challenge in AI research is to program machines to associate a potential cause to a set of different observable conditions. And he figured out how to do that using a scheme called Bayesian networks. I'm not sure if you've heard of Bayesian criteria, Bayesian networks. It's basically the idea of taking things that we've learned in the past and applying them to new problems. I mean, we all think in Bayesian, like that's how we're evolutionary, like that's how we think as humans. Um, but Bayesian networks made it practical for machines to say that, you know, given someone who returned from Africa with a fever and body aches, the most likely explanation is malaria. But he went on to win a big award for this work that he did in writing this book. But he also talked about how the field of AI is really mired in a lot of problems when it comes to truly identifying as a sentient entity, right?
Okay.
And he argues that it's we are like a really long way away from that, like centuries away from that. It's a good book. You should check it out. Book of Why.
I guess my thing is like I don't think it's cool that you can make Obama, but I think it's cool of what you could make Obama do.
I agree with you. I think it can be used for good things. And if it can be used in an effective way to make my games that I play more immersive, I would like to see how that turns out. So
I just like this whole theory now. Like, what can we make Obama do now? Like, that's
yeah.
This is the segue. Time for a segue. Here we go.
Some new research is also being done. If you like research on AI, researchers at University of British Columbia and British Columbia, Canada, have drawn new links between video game loot boxes and gambling. This is something that we've talked about on the show quite extensively in the past. They're raising concerns about increasingly popular features of video games that could create a new generation of gamblers, or at the very least, Kenny Rogers. Psychology professor Luke Clark, who is the director of UBC Center of Gambling Research, presented findings from a new study on the effects of so-called loot boxes at the BC Lottery Corporation's New Horizon and Responsible Gambling Conference on Tuesday this week. And, loot boxes have been somewhat of a mystery to us. And they are supposed to be mysteries to players within games. When opened, you get a randomized prize or payout. But oftentimes gamers need to pay to access loot boxes. And the prize could be a valuable in-game item or a character, or more often a lower value or duplicated item. And, we've seen loot boxes in a lot of different games. Mobile apps are fraught with them. A lot of big titles from franchises like FIFA. I almost said FIFA. From FIFA, Electronic Arts, and a number of countries and jurisdictions around the world have been concerned that loot boxes really sort of represent a significant threat to a new generation of young gamers and people who have not grown into adulthood yet. Researchers have seen this link in the past, Clark says. A correlation between higher levels of spending on loot boxes and higher symptoms of problem gambling. But until now, we haven't really understood the cause and effect behind the relationships. So his team actually set out to better understand that relationship. In particular, they were interested in trying to understand how young people who were exposed to randomized rewards in games were more likely to start gambling, or whether adults who are experienced with gambling were being more drawn to loot boxes as a result of that experience. And so they surveyed 400 regular gamers aged 18 to 24 who were not involved in gambling, and then followed up with them 6 months later to see if they had started gambling. And they said, we can see a clear migration effect. The people who are spending more on loot boxes are more likely to initiate gambling over that follow-up period. And that link is really specific to the randomized microtransactions existent in these loot boxes.
Is that a causation though? Or is it just that people who would be more inclined to gamble are more inclined to buy loot boxes?
Well, it's the research itself has a lot of different implications. for age restrictions around loot boxes and things like that. But if we're talking about cause and effect relationship, you're right. This is really only just an association. And so I'm actually a little bit, I have to look at the study itself, at the methods, because I don't know if this was like a randomized trial, or if it was just like it seemed like it's a randomized trial because they have a follow-up period. But at the same time, they haven't reported on specific groups. So it's something that I probably should have investigated a little bit more before the show. But they go on to say, you know, that connections between gaming and gambling have sort of begun to manifest themselves in other ways as well. A graduate student at UBC, Raymond Wu, in cognitive sciences, has been studying the link and said despite the efforts by Twitch to crack down on gambling streams, they continue to attract really large audiences. So it's still one of the top categories on Twitch, and in fact is the top 1% most popular category of streams on Twitch.
Interesting.
And Wu actually ran a pair of studies aimed at identifying the characteristics of gamblers who watch others compete online, and said that the results raised concerns of their own, saying that stream viewers tended to be younger men who were more vulnerable to gambling problems, which can be concerning, of course, because when gamblers aren't out there and gambling, if they're watching the streams, the cravings that are triggered from these might push them to go and gamble, of course. So anyways, more research obviously coming out of UBC. I think it's kind of exciting to see this because a lot of regulators have been trying to make a case for this, and it's been something of a concern for quite a long time. But any additional thoughts you want to add to this news story?
I've got a really quick, simple solution. If you just rated a game M, I mean, if it has a loot box, just rate the game M. Like then it's solved. If it has,
No, I don't think so, because then we have, you know, Rachel, whose dad bought her the rated M game, even though she's 12 years old, and she figured out how to put his Visa number into the online microtransaction and racked up a $4,000 bill. So
that sounds like Rachel's dad problem. All right, and I happen to know he is just like a real doofus.
So I mean, part of the responsibility falls on parents, right? But parents will put their kids in front of games so that they can have a break from their kids. I don't know.
It's a solution. I'm of the like, we're not looking at our phone when the child is in front of us. I'm like, the technology does not exist. Hello, child. I'm a small Amish man. Look at me, waxing about the old country.
So you've chosen to actually interact with your child instead.
I just bought my child a ball pit. Let me tell you what's like just fun for adults is a tiny
bought your kid a ball pit?
Yeah, because she's an only child. We're both working parents. We can buy a ball pit. It was fairly inexpensive, frankly.
Can you be my dad?
I know, but let me tell you,
be my dad. I want a ball pit.
That's just fun.
Would it be weird to buy a ball pit when you don't have children?
No.
Arjun, can we have a ball pit? He says yes. He says yes.
Rachel's dad, please buy a ball pit for Rachel and get her out of the loot boxes. She doesn't need to be in the loot boxes. She needs to be in the ball pit.
Well, if you like ball pits, you might also like money pits. This next article from Motor1.com, written by Anthony Alaniz, says that BMW is now opening up a contest to develop video games for its curved displays in its BMW vehicles. Last year, the company announced that it would bring video games to its cars, and the automaker has partnered with Air Console to bring its gaming platform to the company's curved displays. The two are now working together to launch a competition for video game developers to tailor to the in-car experience. So if you're interested, you can check out the official company's website for game developers and submit your idea in the form of a pitch deck. The contest is open through June 8th, but the enrollment deadline is June 2nd. BMW Group and Air Console are asking developers to create a compelling game experience in any genre, designed for in-car gaming, accessible to a casual audience, and creatively uses the smartphone as the game controller. So, yeah, the contest, once it closes, we'll announce 4 winners, and that'll be on July 10th. Each winner will receive $5,000 to develop a prototype due on October 9th, and Air Console will fully fund promising prototypes that'll be included on the Air Console platform and inside the BMW vehicles. And this will be announced on November 6th. Winners will also be invited to the BMW Group's headquarters in Munich, Germany. Yeah, this is all in part of BMW's goal to keep passengers entertained, and in this new EV era that we enter into, as customers will ultimately be spending more time in their vehicles waiting for their vehicles to charge. And the company has also been bringing streaming services and other video games and in-car screen features. Other makers have also been bringing this idea forward. Tesla introduced Passenger Play a few years ago, which allowed passengers to play video games through the car's infotainment system. And I think we talked about this before. You could use the wheel in the car to play like driving games. Switzerland-based Air Console is the developer behind the gaming platform for the BMW vehicles, which has been designed to deliver casual games also to TVs and Google Chrome web browser, in case you didn't know. So it actually offers a library of up to 190 different games that are available. So.
Yeah, I think this is the worst possible idea, and people are going to die in car accidents because they're playing Pitfall.
I don't know about that. I think that there's going to be strong limitations. Like, you probably won't be able to activate a game if the car is not in park. Right?
But car computers can break. Like, there can be a glitch, and you might be driving on the interstate and just like, here comes Miss Pac-Man. Like, on up.
Hey, I don't need video games on my car console. I swerved to miss a banana the other day. It was on the road. I mean, it was probably frozen as hard as a rock and would have put a hole through my tire, but I swerved nonetheless.
A banana.
When you see a banana, you swerve, Shalene.
Yeah,
who needs games and cards? Yeah, I know, right?
Could have lost all your coins.
Yeah. So that's games and cars. Getting coffee.
I feel like it's really funny that the games that we immediately thought of, Pitfall, Miss Pac-Man, why are we thinking of like early games to put on cars? Why is nobody thinking like GTA 6 on the car?
Yeah, I don't know. I would love, like, so I have a Mini Cooper, and on the middle part, like under the armrest, there's a little knob that you can use to turn and like move around the screen and stuff. It's also a touch screen, but sometimes when you get lazy, you just use that knob. I think that would be a really cool controller to like play Tetris.
I don't know about Tetris.
Because you could like turn it and then like you push it and it would just like put it down and you move it around.
Arcade games have the weird controls. Like you can like, what is it? Like I really like Crystal Castle. It's like a bear moving around a maze, and but the control for that is like an old like trackpad ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like that's the only thing that can translate well into that. Other than
know what I think of is Pong. That's what I immediately thought of. Pong.
Well, I'll tell you what. I drove a BMW when I was in Copenhagen. I rented a vehicle and they upgraded me to a BMW, and those cars are wild inside. Like the dash, the screens, it's crazy. It's so futuristic. And there are so many features when you're driving, like the navigation is on like the main console where the speedometer and the odometer is. And it's like all built in, and you can like, it's just so cool. Yeah.
Well, what I want to know is, when can I play a video game from a boat?
Well, If you want to play a video game from a boat, you can head on over to Sea of Thieves and check that out because they are celebrating their landmark 5th anniversary. Sea of Thieves reaches 5 years, and the franchise is celebrating with rewards and events and also a community weekend. The 5th anniversary is... they did do a live stream. I believe this was a couple of days ago, 5 days ago, on Twitch and YouTube to talk about what's coming up. But the party has already started. On March 6th, the Marauders Medley event took place. This is spanning 10 days. This event revisits some of Sea of Thieves' greatest updates by offering a themed collection of challenges to undertake. You can also get some goals done, and you can earn a fabulous 5 eye patch, which obviously is exclusive to the 5-year anniversary. If you want a full breakdown of that, you can go to Sea of Thieves blog post and check that out. Those aren't the only cosmetics though that you can snag. If you log in between March 17th and the 22nd, you'll be able to get yourself a lustrous legend figurehead, which you can use to customize your ship with.
It sounds fancy.
If you're in the market, yeah, and the figurehead looks pretty good. I think I'm looking at it's kind of hard to tell, but it's gold, and I think there's like wings or something. If you're in the market for specific cosmetics, like Shalene usually is, you might be interested in our anniversary sale. From March 17th to the 28th, you can get a selection of items, including those themed around the classic rare games and Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life. This is part of their 2021 collaboration with Pirates of the Caribbean. And that will all be on sale in the Pirate Emporium. So I hope you have your wallets ready. And even if you're low on ancient coins, Shalene, you can always swing by the Emporium during the sale and grab the free Down the Hatch emote.
Ooh.
And share a few celebratory grogs with friends. More rewards will be dished out as we make our way through March. There will be no shortage of material, Sea of the Rare is saying when posing for pirate selfies. At the 5th anniversary picture wall, a temporary addition to New Golden Sands Outpost, which will be available from March 20th. And
sounds like a lot of fun.
The 5th anniversary wall looks great. It is some boards. There is some garland and flowers and some barrels around it. And in the middle is a giant Roman numeral 5. I love it.
I find it baffling that they haven't added an official photo mode to the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I think people have gotten pretty creative with their photos, considering all things.
I agree with that, but I still want them to add a photo mode. Rare, I know you're watching, listening, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Please add a photo mode.
Twitch drops, also a thing. Those will be available for all participating streamers, not just Sea of Thieves partners. So those will be offered between March 16th and the 20th. So tune in to your choice of a Sea of Thieves content creator on Twitch. And from the world of Twitch streams to the big screen, they're going cinematic with their next announcement. The feature-length documentary Sea of Thieves Voyage of a Lifetime will be premiering on the day of the 5th anniversary, March 20th.
Cool.
This will feature new interviews and never-before-seen footage. The film will look back on the highs and the lows of developing Sea of Thieves, and it will unveil all of the work that's gone into making this game what it is today. So that's kind of a big deal. I would love to play the trailer, but it's 2 minutes long. So if you want to check that out, go over to the 5th anniversary blog post on Sea of Thieves. And what a better way to celebrate the anniversary than getting involved with the community. So, there is a community day that's going to be going on. And an extra special community weekend from the 25th to the 27th. So anyone who logs in during this event will be treated to multiple freebies, the latest event flag, and this time it will be in tasteful gold and black. delicious Baker's Barrel Disguise emote, and a free Pirate Legend voyage to explore at your leisure. And like other community days, players can also get involved in the shared community emissary grade via their social media accounts with rewards and boosts available at each grade passed, of course. And of course, the special anniversary treat, hitting a grade 5 on your ship, will not only grant all players boosted gold reputation and seasonal renown and faction allegiance, it'll also cause more ancient skellies to start appearing across the seas.
Nice.
So, together, they'll have 50 million ancient coins up for the taking during that time. And so, if you've been eyeing up anything in the Pirate Emporium, now may be the time for you to hop on a boat. And lastly, I will cap things off by saying anniversary celebrations on the seas could not get any better, but wait, there's more. Season 9 is right around the corner. And this will be starting on March 16th. The new season will introduce more loot opportunities and prestigious awards, a host of new and upgraded features requested by the community, 100 levels of seasonal progress, as you would expect to climb by raising your renown, and of course, an Emporium restocked with brand new Plunder Pass stuff. We'll have a dedicated article on launch day for that, so keep an eye on the podcast. We will, of course, be talking about this as well.
Lovely.
So those are some of the updates from the seas.
Thank you, Vendor.
Yeah, I'm tired of talking. You want to do the stocks now?
I do.
And of course, the bumper is dee 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 dee.
It's okay.
Take it away,
I'll
Shalene.
add it in post. It'll be fine. Make me a timestamp, Arjun. So, GameStock, the stocks are looking terrible this week. Terrible. And of course, the differences are since the last episode last week. Sony is down almost $1 to 84.76. Microsoft is down $6.70, closing at $248.59. Nintendo has dropped 8 cents to $9.45. Take-Two has dropped $6.12 to $110.58. Activision down $1.42, closing at $77.97. Ubisoft is the one hopeful spot. We're up to $1.36, closing at $24.25. EA closed at $109.19. That is down $3.96. And Tencent closed at $42.55. That is down $4.57. So.
Yeah, and I mean, that was based on last week's debacle as well, right? Let me... Yeah. So, okay, that's the stocks. Let's check the mail stack.
You've got mail.
What have we got for mail, Shalene? Oh, wait, I'm losing your audio again. Damn it. Try now. Yeah,
Hello?
You're back.
Okay, it's working. Mail stack, we've got one from Taz. Taz says, friends, the adventures of the SS GameStack may have begun by one person, but it is one for our community, and I would ask for your insights and input how to progress this story. There are many ways of telling the story, just as I have begun using screenshots and stories. The great adventure awaits us all. Let's see where it takes us. So looks like Taz is wanting some input on what to do with the tale of the SS GameStack that he has been building. We've been sharing those screenshots and stories every week. So definitely jump into the mail stack and give him some responses. Let him know what you want to hear about in terms of the SS GameStack. And if you would like to send some mail in, Vendor, how would you do that?
You can post in the Mailstack channel in our Discord, or you can send us an email at info@wejustlovegames.com.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. Any suggestions right now to the panelists on what the SS GameStack might deep space assignments, perhaps, or fight with the Ferengi.
Not sure. I play Sea of Thieves only with other people, and it's rare that I play with other people. Haha, rare. So you get it. So that universe is just wholly like I don't know anything about it, and I kind of enjoy it that way because
Yeah,
whenever I'm like, I don't have a clue.
he is not playing Sea
This
of
is
Thieves. He's
this
playing some
is
kind of space game.
Space Engineers.
Space
Space
engineers.
engineers. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, that's what happens when you have a guest on here. Is they're
Sorry.
just tangent.
Yeah, no,
Well,
we
and
should have.
there's also the part where I haven't posted an episode in like a month.
And we should have
So-
prefaced. We should have prefaced the what he was actually talking about there. So, I think a deep space assignment where you go and visit an outpost and make new friends, because GameStack is all about making new friends and community.
Yeah, GameStack is about building that community, and I think he should try to violate the Prime Directive and reach out to as many civilizations as possible.
Yes, and also jump through time,
Yes,
because temporal Prime Directive.
love it.
Yeah, so that's a mail stack. Send us your mail. We'd love to hear from you, and let's check out what the community is playing. And guess who didn't actually load up the screenshots? That would be this guy right here. Let me just
Okay.
load those up. Got them here. Okay. So this is a screenshot of Taz's ship. This is the SS GameStack at the repair station, and this is inspired by the Escort ship in Rocinante? Rocinante? Do you say so?
That's Rocinante is the name of the ship in the Expanse series.
Thank you.
Which I know because I read the first book.
And I'm gonna have to. These always get mixed up. This is another one of him docking at the newly constructed repair station.
Fabulous.
So it's the ship in this. I wonder if he built this station himself, or if this is like a, because Space Engineers is very, very like you build everything from scratch kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then there's this one. He says SS GameStack using her nanite build and repair system to salvage materials from the dead Reaver ship to make much needed repairs after the pitched battle that occurred. And it's this ship off in the distance is all on fire and smoking, which in space wouldn't actually be a thing. And then the SS GameStack, which looks pretty good. I like how there's this like little bay on the back for ships to like land on. There's like a little scout ship or something.
And it's in Vault-Tec blue and yellow.
And finally, this last one, he says, since we last saw the SS GameStack, it's been a bit exciting. This has been the ship involved in the battle with the Reaver ship that we came out alive, and there's a few scars, and he shows a picture on the dark side of the moon, probably hiding from that so he can do repairs.
Very cool.
Okay, and then we've got this shot from RTZ13. I don't know if you've been following in the Discord, but this is amazing. For our audio listeners, it is 4 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper. And he actually started out building sort of like, those car mats? Not like car mats that you put in your car, but a map.
Like that you would drive a Hot Wheels on. Yes.
Remember you had those when you were little? So he's doing this with paper, and him and his daughter, who's 2.5, she got a little truck inside of a Kinder Surprise. And they decided to draw a little map so that they can drive around. And he sketched it up, and then they started playing, and then, well, let's color it too, which turned into let's add the 3D building, and how about we just keep going? And then the GameStack community got involved, and we were all waiting for the next sheet of paper and what it was going to look like. Yeah, we'll see how this evolves. Maybe we'll post another screenshot next week. But can you explain this for our audio listeners, Shalene, so they know what I'm talking about?
Oh my gosh, it's so cute. So this has been drawn, and the art is actually pretty solid. We have in the top left a little marina, and looks like a residential area, a nice park. And around about our bottom left sheet of paper has got a burger joint. There are little cars going through the drive-through. We've got some sports areas, a little amphitheater, and there is a concert happening at the amphitheater. I'm pretty sure it's Beyonce. Uh, the
I was thinking like Led Zeppelin, but you know.
the bottom right sheet of paper has got a fabulous canal, and there's a dockside restaurant with a great little parking lot. There's a bus going through, and another little park. And I'm not sure, is that a what is the fish? Is this part of the park, or is this like an aquarium? Maybe there's like
I think
something happening
it's
with a
just part of the
fish.
park. It's just
But
like,
it's
you know,
fabulous. It's a very good
painted
fish.
pavement, you know. Maybe
Yes.
there's a park in his neighborhood where they go to and there's a giant fish in it or something. What's that?
And it's
Maybe it's a splash pad, like with the
ooh.
Oh, you know what? You're probably
Yeah,
right.
it's
Yeah.
great.
See,
And
Dave's
the
got the dad hat on, so he knows.
Well, I also, yeah, I got the dad hat. I make maps for a living. This
Oh, yes. Let's get your critique on this.
as a
Is
cartographer,
it
what are your thoughts?
topographically correct?
use USGS like marker. What's their PDOP? What's their HDOP on these? No, uh, really cool. Like this is save this
Yeah.
in a box when you're done. Like this is awesome.
And thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing it, RTZ.
Yeah, I think it's great. I wonder if RTZ also works in some similar sort of role that you do, Dave. That he, like, this skill was sort of transferred into this.
My maps do not look as pretty as this because of I just do corporate maps, so not really fun, delightful maps to roll trucks on. That's the
Right. Right. This next screenshot comes to us from, oh gosh, this is from Sater. And they said, had to stop by my apartment on the way out of Microtech for my trip to the Horizon in Star Citizen.
May I comment on the fantasticness of Sater's hat? He's
Yes.
wearing an incredible top hat with gold
It's very
trim.
good.
Gorgeous.
And here's another shot of the front
Oh,
of the hat.
oh,
What did you say, Shalene?
he's got a monocle.
Oh, he's got a monocle. She was so excited that the mic was peaking and cutting her out.
I'm sorry, I got shrill. I was so excited I got shrill. But he's wearing a monocle and I adore it. Excellent, excellent style, Sater.
I think that you stop people in the street, like there's a guy, like I imagine on your block walking down with a top hat, and you pull him aside and you're like, listen, sir, this is the most fantastic top hat I have ever seen in my entire
I
life.
absolutely would. If I saw a gentleman wearing a top hat IRL, I would absolutely stop him and compliment his top hat.
When I used to go to campus, because I work remotely now, but when I used to go to campus, there would be this old man on the train in a full 3-piece suit with a carnation and a hat, like like a bowler hat. And I would see him all the time, and he was always fully decked out in this beautiful suit, and he always had a red carnation. Yeah,
Yeah, I
never
love to
forget
compliment
that.
people when they're looking fabulous. That's absolutely something I do.
And here's a shot of the apartments that Sater was talking about. So it's very fancy, high rise. There's some mountains in the background. The sun's going down here. City off in the left there. It
And I
kind of
believe this is Star Citizen. the
Star
game?
Citizen, but it's giving me some cyberpunk vibes. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, great.
And that's it. That's it for screenshots and stories. If you want to share some screenshots and stories with us, post it in the screenshots and stories channel in our Discord. Yeah. Let's talk about what we're playing. Dave, what kind of games you been playing?
Yeah. So I brought three today. How I have a question really for you all. Let me open this up to the floor. I'm now the speaker of the house. I'm gonna open this up to the floor. um, how often do you all dabble in the JRPGs?
Almost never. Very rarely.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would say not usually a lot. No.
See, that's what I have been doing with my first game. I've been playing some Octopath Traveler 2.
I played a bit of the first one. It was good.
Yeah. The second one I think is a little bit better. I think that they like the art style of those games I think is one of the main like draws where it's like it's 2D, it's pixel art, but it's got that 3D element to it. Um, this one is set in a more I wouldn't say it's a modern setting. It's like an early 1900s setting or like a
Oh,
late
interesting.
um so there's like my party is getting composed of I have a dancer who just wants to literally is living in a village and all she wants to do is just live a life of dancing and people are like, "Oh, are you talking about like that kind of dancing?" She's like, "No, I want to be famous. I want to be the most famous dancer ever." So I feel like I have like this like J-pop kind of star story.
Hmm.
I've got a cowboy guy who really likes to steal from the rich, give to the poor, and a samurai from some. Now there's samurai here, and an apothecary who can't remember her name. So I really like composition so far of my party that I've set up to go. I guess they're gonna go solve their own personal issues as well as maybe save the world. I'm not sure, but the game is great. I've been playing it a lot in the Switch. There's less. I think there's like less grinding than the first one. Oftentimes you had to like figure out how to like jack up your level to get to the next area.
Hmm.
Doesn't feel like that as much in this one. So I've been playing that on the Switch. I've been playing some Zelda, and because I'm ADHD, like when I go and play something, like I'm like, man, I really could go to play Dishonored. I'm gonna play every single Dishonored game. So that's what I've been doing with Zelda. It's like, hey, I'm gonna play them all simultaneously because I'm a sick man. I'm a sick man that needs to be stopped. So I've been playing Ocarina of Time most recently.
Mm.
Uh,
Uh,
I am
Okanara of time.
Okanara, yes, as we say in Canada, the Okanara of Time.
Actually,
Uh,
that was Rick that coined the phrase.
It
oh,
was the Okanara of time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I guess I don't know anything about that project. So I'm in the Shadow Temple, which is a kind of a it's almost like a proto Dark Souls. It's like before like it's kind of
Yes.
the inspiration for it because everything's trying to trick you. So when you go through a room and you expect the solution to be something, it's gonna reward you with like 1 rupee, which like at that point in the game,
Hmm.
it's like chump change. You're like, come on. Um, a lot of that kind of like trickery involved, and going back and playing that classic like style, kind of like it's like, oh, I remember some of this and I remember that, but there's a lot of hidden stuff in that dungeon. So I've been playing that and
What platform are you playing it on?
I'm doing the I have the expansion pack for the Nintendo
Ah,
the
right.
64 one. I've been really loving that because they just added in a bunch of Game Boy and
Yes.
Yes, we were talking about that. Have
Hmm.
you played any of them?
I so on the Game Boy I've played a little bit of Wario Land because I really like the Wario games. That's
Hmm.
like the Wario games are just very specifically like nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
And on the Game Boy Advance, I think I played a little bit of Minish Cap because I
Minish Cap is so good, and I've never finished it, and
yeah
I
I've
want
been
to play it again.
You finishing a game?
I know. I know. I used to finish them, I promise.
Back when we finished games.
Yes.
Yeah.
and then I've played I played the most recent demo for the remake of Resident Evil 4.
Oh,
Resident
how was that?
Evil, I mean it was good. Resident Evil 4 is probably like one of my favorite games, like probably like top 5. Just because of how in its like for its time it was one of the most like it created third person shooters but did it in a really interesting way that felt more arcadey I think back in the day
Right, right.
style whereas the remakes of I think they just did like Resident Evil 2 Resident Evil 3 and now they're doing 4 remake
Hmm.
um part of the charm I think of that original Resident Evil 4 just how stupid it was Like it's so corny. Like let's go like roundhouse kick some Spanish villagers. Oh, there's a guy in a priest robe. Let's go like shoot him with like an SMG. Like it's just so over the top. And then you fight a little person dressed up as Napoleon, and then he gets like tentacles sprouting out of him. Like there's so much in there that just doesn't like it's corny, like in the way that like Solid Snake is corny. Like
Hmm.
just like there's a level there that I think is hard to translate maybe into the modern one. So it's almost like a different experience. So I played through the demo that starts with like that first house where you're like, oh, these people are zombies. To there's kind of an iconic scene with a chainsaw guy that comes out.
Hmm.
I've played through that, and it's good. It looks great. It feels good. But I do miss when you would pull out the gun in the old one. Like everything would stop around you. Like not everything would stop, but like you would stand in place. You were locked into that
Ugh,
place.
hated
Had
that.
your like laser reticle like go around like searching for what to shoot, and that felt more like an arcade game to me. And this one is more traditional, like what we know today
It's
is.
modernized.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Shalene, you were remarking last week, I think, that you were saying that you would wish that Rick would play it so you can spectate because it's too
Yes, I
scary to
hope
play
that
by
Rick will play this for
yourself.
me. Yeah. I
Uh,
want to do Survival Horror Sundays. Let's revive Survival Horror Sundays.
You should play the old one as like if you were like, oh, it's a little too scary, play the old one because the old one is just like so silly.
I've
It's
tried the old one a couple of times because it's highly touted as one of the greatest games, of all time. People love this game,
mm.
and I just can't with it. I can't. I don't know if it's because I don't have the nostalgia goggles, but the controls are just awful. They're awful. I feel like it's a bad game.
She's so
And
angry.
yeah, but I mean, I'd love to watch Rick play it.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
I'm with you on that, Shalene. Like I loved watching you and Rick and Archin play Hunt Showdown.
Oh, it was so
I
fun.
loved it.
So
And you know
fun.
what I do now, actually? I watch Necromi on Twitch, who plays a lot of Hunt
Hmm.
Showdown, and I get really into it. But I'm the type of person that I don't do jump scares, and when you're playing the game, it's different than when you're watching someone else play it because
Hmm.
you don't get the jump scares really all that much, right? So
Yeah. I love the aesthetic of Hunt. That's a special game.
yeah. Any other games on your horizon that you're wanting to dive
that I'm
into?
excited about. I mean, like I'm excited about the Starfield, new Zelda,
Yeah.
uh, and I have this like craving for like a city builder that I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to
I
satiate.
think City Skylines. Did you see the new launch trailer of that?
Yeah, yeah, but I feel like that's gonna be broken at launch, and we're gonna have to wait like
Probably.
years before it's good.
Probably.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to I'm feeling my way around blindly in the dark as I come from my SimCity 3000.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. With the spaceship? Is that the one with the spaceship on the cover? You know,
I
in the
don't.
back in the day when PC games came in a box this big.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
I was a
great.
big fan of that Sim Tower. I don't know if you all ever played that, but Sim Tower was like the stuff.
I missed that one.
Yeah, I'm a big aficionado of sim games, like the Sims and then Sim City. I played Sim City 2000 and 3000. I played Sim Ants on Macintosh 2.
Hmm.
It was an ant farm simulator. Yeah. That's how far back my sim life goes. But yeah, the Sims are great.
Yep, that's it for me though.
Okay. Well, I've been playing nothing but American Truck Simulator this past week. As you guys know, last Friday, hours before the show, my Moza pedals came in. I
Hmm.
can't do the mirrored thing.
And did
There
you
they
get them to
are, right
work?
there. So I went through this whole fiasco. I'm all excited, right? And I plug these pedals in. I plug the wheel in. I had plugged the wheel in previously when it came in, to test it out and make sure that everything worked, so that if I needed to return it, I could do that. And I plugged the pedals in, and the pedals wouldn't be they weren't recognized by the software. And so I did some fiddling with it, and I managed to get the pedals to work, but then when the pedals would work, the wheel would disconnect.
Oh no.
And it got to the point where this wheel here and the pedals are actually two different pieces of hardware connected to the PC by two different separate USB cables. They're not connected to each other. But when I would disconnect the wheel, it would connect the pedals in the software. And when I would reconnect the wheel, it would disconnect the pedals. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? These aren't even connected to each other. I'm like, well, it's got to be the PC. Because I troubleshooted everything within the Moza. Because they have this, like, you know how Logitech will have their G Hub software for, like, your mouses and, you know, whatever controllers you have that are Logitech brand. Well, Moza has something similar. It's called Pit House. And you use it to calibrate everything. And I just couldn't get it to work in there. So, and I had tried everything. Like I tried almost the whole day on Saturday to get it running. And I tried a little bit on Sunday morning and I still couldn't get it going. And then I was really starting to think, okay, I think my motherboard is actually like wrecked. Like I think that it's just so old now that the USB ports are no longer communicating well with each other and it's causing these issues with this hardware. So I sort of came to the gripes that I maybe need to start building a new PC. And then I like poured my heart out to Shalene on Discord. I'm like, I think I need to build a new PC. And I started that process, but only barely. I just got a motherboard. And then I had this idea strike me like a lightning bolt out of the sky. And I thought, if I go into the device manager in Windows and I delete the main Windows USB root hub controller from the devices manager and reboot my computer, it'll reinstall that controller root hub and all of the drivers with it. And so I did that and I plugged the pedals in and bam, everything worked instantly. And I'm like, are you kidding? That was it? And I spent days troubleshooting this and I even came to the conclusion of buying a new computer. Anyways, I'm still building a new PC. That's going to happen.
It is time.
Yeah, it's time. I mean, my PC is like almost 10 years old now. And it's still kicking. I mean, it runs the show barely. I mean, we have audio issues every week, but that's a whole other thing. But it works well. The wheel and the pedals work well with ATS. Once I figured it out, I think on Tuesday this week, I've been playing ETS every night. I finish work and I'm like, bam, you know that gif of the stick man that gets home?
Yeah, the pants.
He hangs his hat up and he rips his clothes off and then he swings in the chair across the room and hits the button on the keyboard. That's me this week with ATS, and I can tell you that the quality of this is so far surpassing Logitech. It's unreal.
Nice.
Because it's a direct drive. I don't know if you can.
Okay, vendor is going to get the wheel.
Gotten too excited. He's out in the wild now.
So the wheel comes off and the back of it is a direct drive system. So it's a motor that is linearly connected to the wheel. So you feel more of the road per se. So anyways, the quality is like so good. It's so good. And the pedals feel better than my real car.
I was just about to say, I think that your driving setup is better than the stuff in my car.
Yeah.
Like
it's better. Yeah. Like I wish I had this wheel in my car. So anyways, I've got back to my fleet job with Viva Trucking. They were like, "Where did you go? We almost fired you." I'm like, "Oh, truck broke down and
yeah."
So
didn't connect. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. So it's I've been totally nerding out over that this week and probably going to play a lot of it this weekend. I also have picked up Call of the Sea. Call of the Sea is free on Epic Games Store.
I've heard good things about this one. Jess
and
played it a year or so ago.
yeah, she was saying some really good things. It looked really attractive at launch. I really enjoyed the trailer, and it's always been something I've wanted to play. So I might dive into that tomorrow morning over coffee.
Nice.
What's that?
An adventure game.
Yes. Yeah.
I think my wife played that. She's a big
like narrative based.
Nancy Drew, like FMV kind of adventure game person. She really liked that.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what I've been up to. Shalene, what have you been up to?
Fallout 76 is my gaming life this week. And I haven't played that much of it because I've been just reading a lot, lots of books. So, but to talk about 76, the new season has begun, and they have changed up the challenges for the daily homework a little bit. And I think they are very positive changes. They've taken away the daily level up requirement. So that one was it was super grindy. It was not fun. And they've replaced that challenge with sort of a random challenge every day. Like one day it was that you needed to sell Mirelurk Queen steak to an NPC vendor. So that means you have to hunt down a Mirelurk Queen and cook its meat.
Yeah. Off to the cranberry bog.
Exactly. And I feel like that type of challenge is much more fun to do than something like grinding out a level. So I've enjoyed that. I think that's a very positive change. And along with the new season was update 42, which has introduced some quality of life things that I think have been very good for the game. And some of them are minor changes, but they're noticeable changes for someone who plays a lot. For one, they've added stash boxes to every public event. And that is so convenient because I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a hoarder in video games, almost
I think
in real life.
All of
we
us
have
who
to
play
fight that down.
All of us who play Fallout 76, we're all, yeah.
Yes, and I'm over encumbered at all times. Like I spend 98% of my time in this game over encumbered. It's an inventory management simulator. And having these stash boxes at public events is going to make everybody's life so much easier. Ooh, Sullivan7 in chat mentions one that I had forgotten to put in my notes. Being able to re-roll the challenges. That is a new thing they've added. You can, if there's a challenge you just really don't want to do, for example, going to kill trogs in the pit. If you don't want to make a trip to the pit today, you can re-roll that challenge and it'll give you another random challenge. So it's a great addition for people who don't want to do the daily op challenge or go to the pit or whatever. But it was buggy at launch because people were getting like meat week challenges and it's not meat week, so they were getting uncompletable challenges because Bethesda. I'm not sure if they fixed that. I think they have. Okay, I'm getting a nod from the in-studio producer Archon. So they have corrected that now. But it was a rough little launch for the re-rolling challenges. They have also increased the amount of script in the script machine to 500, which is just incredible. 300 was absolutely not enough. Absolutely not enough. Mutated events are new. So they've taken the mutations from daily ops, and at the top of every hour, one of the public events has a mutation applied, which has been fun. And this offers some new rewards. You get a mutated party pack, I think is what it's called. And those can include some very rare plans. I've talked in the past about the spreadsheet and the collection of plans and the quest to get all the plans. And some of these plans are just incredibly, incredibly rare. It's like, I think Archon was telling me earlier that it's like a 1 in 700 million chance to get some of them, like just ridiculous.
You're more likely to get struck by lightning than you are to
twice. Yeah. So some of those incredibly rare plans are available as part of the rewards for the mutated events, which is great because it gives you a chance to get these plans.
Right.
But also having these plans be less rare has absolutely thrown the plan trading economy into chaos. the prices are dropping and everything's changing and nobody knows what's desirable anymore and rare and nobody knows how to price their plans in the vending machine and it's chaos, I
it's
tell
chaos,
you.
and the school has cancer.
Yes, very funny. They added this is a huge one for me. They put an ammo box, which is similar to the scrap box, and the ammo box was nice, but you had to individually transfer over like each bullet, which was a
Oh
pain.
no.
But they've added now just a button press where if you don't have a gun that uses that ammo in your pocket, it'll throw it in the ammo box. So very convenient. Daily Ops has had new rewards added, which is very, very exciting for me because I'd gotten all the rewards and I was sad when I would get them again. And they've also added alien enemies and a little bit of fun story when you pull the alien enemies instead of the more traditional enemies. So that's a cute addition to daily ops that just it brought me a little bit of joy seeing something different. You know, it's fun to have something new in this game that I've sunk so many hours into.
Would you say that you've put more hours into Fallout 76 now than any other Fallout?
Maybe, but I don't think so. I played so much of Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas on so many different platforms. I'm not sure that I've surpassed those hours in
Okay.
76.
I was
I
just
may have.
curious. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're probably closing in on like a maybe 1,000 hours in 76, which I've spent more time in Skyrim, I think, than that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'll have to look into that and see how much time I've put in. Anyway, the next thing is something I'm really happy that Dave was able to be here today. Because Dave, I don't know if everyone in our audience knows this, but Dave Chafinz is a card carrying cryptozoologist. Yes, this man is an expert on Appalachian folklore and creatures, and I they've added a new random encounter to Fallout 76 that I wanted to discuss with you in particular, and I probably would have hit you up on social media if you hadn't have been able to pop on the show. So this new encounter popped up for Archin. He called me over and I watched him go through it. And it was called the Smiling Man. And it was this very, very creepy man. And he introduced himself as Indrid, and I believe this is a figure of mythology. And Dave, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you tell us a little bit more about Indrid Cold?
Yeah. A figure of mythology. I really like, when I die, I want people to say that about me, a mythology. Cold is a around the time that Mothman was happening, around I think 1969. I don't know, years. What is a year anymore after pandemic? Around that time, people encountered a guy. I think the first encounter was actually, look at me. I'm going to pull this information right directly from my brain hole. They were driving up the road towards Point Pleasant, which is where Mothman is from, and a flying chimney that was flying sideways came and landed in front of their car. Out of the flying chimney stepped a man wearing a suit with a smiling face and gray skin and approached the driver of the car and was asking him directions to Point Pleasant, where Mothman was. Um, the man gave the directions to him. The guy smiled the whole time, and he got back in his chimney and flew away. The man was then later visited by this man in visions that told him that he was from the Andromeda galaxy, that he was an alien, that said that he couldn't understand his name. And around this time as well, the people of Point Pleasant were visited maybe it seemed like in their dreams by this smiling man in kind of a disheveled suit. that would come around asking questions about the Mothman. There were a lot of people in that time asking questions about the Mothman, like FBI agents were seemingly, or I wouldn't say FBI agents, just like undisclosed agents
Yes.
walking around the town. But he was kind of different. This Indrid Cold. He is probably the main antagonist of the Richard Gere film Mothman Prophecies. Frankly,
Ooh.
Mothman Prophecies is more about Indrid Cold than it is about Mothman. Brass tacks.
Fascinating. I am so impressed. You are the consummate professional, Dave. I did not give you any warning that we were going to be having this discussion. Just dropped it on you. And look at you, just with all this knowledge. I have to ask, like, if somebody, if some creepy dude in a suit landed his chimney next to your car and approached you, are you going to roll down the window and give him directions? How would you react to that?
Hmm. Uh, I'm leaving. I have a lot of stake in my life. Like, I was thinking about this. It's like, what's more dangerous, a man with nothing to lose or a man with everything to lose? And I'm a man with everything to lose, and I am getting lost. I am
Mm-hmm.
right out of there. I'm not dealing with vertical chimneys. Regular excuse me, vertical chimneys, horizontal chimneys. Regular vertical chimneys are enough of like a masonry problem that I
Especially in London. Yeah,
That's
that's
incredible.
I mean,
Mm.
vertical chimneys are suspicious even in the best days. I can't imagine if a horizontal chimney just, you know.
Yeah, it was a really neat encounter in Fallout 76, though. There were a ton of different dialogue options, and I have a feeling that he's going to have different dialogue depending on what you choose to say to him. So,
I'm glad
uh,
that they added
very cool.
that to the game because that was
Hmm.
one of the things that I felt was missing from that Mothman kind of like backstory esque thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been playing any 76 or if you've still if you're taking a break or if you've still been involved. But the new season is all focused on cryptids and cryptid hunting. So that's something that might appeal to you.
Yeah, I might jump back into it. It's been nice to take some extended time off from in-depth coverage and having to do a podcast every week, maybe more,
Mm-hmm.
about said game. So
Hmm.
Indeed.
I'm enjoying learning about the game from you in this moment of like, oh, cool, they got an ammo box. That's nice. Unmutated events. That sounds nice. Like everything you're telling me sounds nice, and I
Yeah.
like hearing it from you rather than having to be on the forefront.
I absolutely understand. I went through a similar thing when we stopped doing that Fallout show. So
So Dave,
yeah.
tell us about the podcast that you currently have going and how can people listen to them?
Yeah, so it is Rad Rolls. We are a actual play tabletop role playing group that is kind of like across the board a dark comedy podcast that tells an original story in both our Fallout setting and our new Elder Scrolls setting. We're playing the officially branded Fallout 2D20 from Modifius, and starting our gameplay of old school Sigils with our Elder Scrolls setting. Our where you can find us at all social media at Rad Rolls. We have a podcast that's on all the different services. We have full video YouTube stuff. I post trailers every Friday of just like what we're into, some funny moments from all that stuff. So just look up Rad Rolls and you'll be able to find that. And then anything else I do, you can just find me at Dave Chafinz, DaveChafinz. And that's pretty much where you can find me.
Hmm.
I'm so glad you were able to join us today. This was really fun.
I
Yeah.
love doing this with you all. You guys are great and lovely and just the best.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
It's
to do it
always
again sooner than a year.
it's always great having a Dave show, and I vote that we put him back on the docket for at least within the next 6 months. Yeah, and a Dame stack as well. We need to do another Dame stack.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a show, folks. We're sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 from every purchase of that blend goes to the Children's Miracle Network. We love to hear from you. If you have some mail to send us, you can post it in the MailStack channel in our Discord or send us an email at info@wejustlovegames.com. We're also on Twitter. You can find Dave at Dave Chafinz, myself at Vendertron N, Shalene at Shalene L, and our network Twitter at We Just Love Games. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/We Just Love Games, facebook.com/group/We Just Love Games. And we record the show live every Friday around 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, right here on twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. You can also find the show on other podcast and digital content related media platforms like YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google, Apple Podcasts, etc. Please like, subscribe, and review the show. We love that you tune in every week. You are the best listeners. Thank you for joining us once again. And Dave, have you got a last word for tonight's show?
Every time I do this, I always forget. But I will say that well, I'll just repeat myself. If wishes were kisses, we'd all be in love.
Good night, all.